Hello to everyone who's watching this video. I want you to take a moment to realize how much processes and activities your body is doing right now just to keep you alive and healthy. Of all the life processes we undergo, we can easily observe growth of living beings happening. See a human baby slowly growing older and then turning into a teenager. Teenage is an age group of 12 to 19 years approximately. In this period, we see a lot of changes happening in an individual's body. Some of these changes are common to both the sexes. We may see teenagers having a lot of mood swings and they may develop acne or pimples. Further, other changes are sex specific, wherein males starts to develop facial hair and their voice changes. Females, on the other hand, begins with their menstrual cycle, in which there is periodic discharge of blood from their uterus. Females also have their breast enlarging. Also, respective sexual organs of both the sexes begins to mature. Now, all of these things are effects, and every effect has a cause. The cause here are some chemicals produced and released into our body. These chemicals are known as hormones. In animals, the network that makes and releases these hormones is known as endocrine system. Endocrine system is one of the two ways along with the nervous system in which important informations are communicated from one part of your body to another. So, at any given point of time, considering you are alive, your endocrine system is showering hormones inside your body. These released hormones performs various daily activities such as they maintain salt and electrolyte balance, they regulate metabolism of fats and carbohydrates. Hormones are also responsible for controlling and coordinating various functions in your body. Now, let us come to the question, what are hormones and this endocrine system? The classical definition of hormones states it as a chemical produced by endocrine gland, released into the bloodstream and then transported to distant target organs. Here the term to remember is endocrine gland. These are the glands which releases their secretions directly into the bloodstream. They do not use any kind of duct or vessels. Hence these glands are also known as ductless glands. The current definition goes like this. Hormones are non nutrient chemicals which act as intercellular messengers and are produced in trace amounts. Here, the term non nutrient clearly distinguishes hormones from nutrient substances such as glucose and lactose. Then we see the word intercellular messengers, which means that hormones acts like messengers. They mediate communications between the cells and the cells can be present at shorter or at longer distances. Lastly, it is said that hormones are present in trace amounts, which means that they are present in very low concentration. One more thing to note in classical definition is that it contains the word blood. Because of the use of this word, the definition had excluded hormones present in plants and other organisms, such as invertebrates, as their connective fluid is not called blood. Now, just for information, invertebrates are organisms which do not possess a vertebral column in any of their developmental stage. They have fewer hormones and the endocrine system is much simpler. Now let us see what is endocrine system. Endocrine system comprises of cells or tissues producing the hormones along with the glands secreting them. We human beings have in all 10 endocrine glands, 3 of which is situated in brain. These are pituitary gland, hypothalamus and pineal gland. The remaining 7 endocrine glands are situated in the rest of the body. These includes the thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, adrenal gland, pancreas, thymus, testes in males while ovaries in females. In addition to these, some other organs, for example, liver, kidney, heart also produces hormones. Some examples of hormones in our body are oxytocin, which is also called as birth hormone. The reason is that it causes uterine contraction when the baby is being delivered. Next, we can take the example of growth hormones. These, as the name suggests, regulates the growth in individuals. We can now think of prolactin, which causes breast enlargement and milk production in mothers after the baby is being born. Now, let us see what is the hormone's mechanism of action. Hormones released from endocrine glands produces effects on target tissues by binding to specific proteins called as hormone receptors. For a quick glance, proteins are biomolecules or macromolecules which have varied functions such as transportation of nutrients, fighting the infectious organisms. They also act as enzymes to speed up metabolic reactions. Now, when hormones binds with its receptors, a hormone receptor complex is formed. Hormones are very specific to the receptor they bind. As you can see, the receptor for hormone A is semicircular, so it will allow binding with circular hormone A only. It cannot bind to hormones of other shape like triangle shown over here. The receptors can be present at cell's surface, that is on the cell membrane, like in the case of hormone FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. Its receptor is present on ovarian cell membrane as shown in the diagram. Hormone binds to the receptor, which leads to hormone receptor complex formation. In this scenario, a secondary messenger is produced like cyclic AMP or calcium ions. Hormones which interact with membrane bound receptors normally do not enter the target cell. Just for the sake of understanding, you can think of yourself as a hormone. You want to deliver a message to a friend who stays at Delhi, but you are residing at Mumbai. So you can't go to him, but you can use some courier services to mediate the message. The delivery boy then goes to your friend and delivers the message. Thus, the courier service acted like secondary messengers. So, the binding of hormone to receptor on membrane produces some response which leads to generation of secondary messenger. These will eventually cause the biochemical response and finally a physiological response will occur. In this case, FSH mediated the message of ovarian cell growth. Now, there are other kinds of hormones which interact with intracellular receptors. These hormones mostly regulates gene expression or chromosome function by the interaction of hormone receptor complex with the genome. As you can see in the diagram, the receptor for hormone estrogen is located in the nucleus. This means that the receptor is present intracellularly, that is inside the cell. Hence, the hormone crosses the uterine cell membrane, entering the cell and then bind to its receptor in nucleus. There it forms the hormone receptor complex. This will eventually lead to changes in mRNA and proteins formed, which in turn will cause a physiological response. For example, tissue growth shown over here. To sum up our video, we started with how hormones control our life processes. We defined them as chemicals mediating informations between the cells. We also saw that the hormones are different from nutrients and are produced in very small amount. Further, we defined endocrine glands and saw some examples of hormones. Lastly, we went on to discuss the two mechanisms of hormones action. In the first one, the receptors is present on the cell membrane. In this case, hormones doesn't enters the cell and they generates secondary messenger. Then we saw the other mode of action wherein the receptor is present inside the cell. Here the hormones travels inside the cell and then there is no need of any secondary messengers. The next time we see a baby growing older or a perfectly obedient teenager sobbing for not given permission to attend a night party, we should take a moment to appreciate the enormous amount of work hormones are doing for us. Thanks for investing your time and watching this video.